So, how do you work with your clients? How does that work? Tell us a little bit about who they are, or how do you find where do you see them, that kind of thing.
Most of my clients are middle-aged women. They either have autoimmune or chronic Lyme, mold, or any of those things, or all of those things. Most of them have all of them. And they're just looking for a way to get their life back. Like you said, they've exhausted all avenues and they're desperate to get better.
If you have Lyme disease, mold, autoimmune, CIRS, wow, do we have a show for you? My heart goes out to you. Our special guest here has been there, done that. Janice Maynard, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you, Dr. Shaunna, for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Well, your story is so powerful. I'll try not to steal all of your thunder, but you have had a dramatic transformation. These are some of the most difficult things that people experience, and they can last for so long. It can be so chronic. But your transformation is so inspirational, and what you've been able to help people with is truly amazing. So there is hope, people. And you're going to want to tune into this episode. And I'm going to just have us dive right into it. Thank you for tuning in to us. You're coming in all the way from Burnett, Texas. So thank you for being here. First question, though, I'm just going to hit it hard right off the bat. I mentioned CIRS, that's CIRS. For people who don't know, what does that stand for, and what the heck is that?
Sure. It stands for chronic inflammatory response syndrome. And in my case, it is a genetic susceptibility. And in my case, I had a multisusceptible. Some people just have it where they're susceptible to mold toxins or Lyme toxins. But in my case, it was a multisusceptible one, which was all the toxins, not just mold and Lyme, but there's blue-green algae and other things. And it causes a massive cytokine storm in the body, lots of inflammation and pain. So that's pretty much what CIRS is about.
Well, thank you for that. And tell us, what exactly is it, that you do? I mean, you've had so many health conditions. That's why there's like a kind of a whole list, and it's not uncommon for people to have one to have that whole list. What is it that you do? And tell us a little bit about your story. What did you suffer with? How did it happen? And more importantly, how did you get on the other side of it? So what do you do? How did this all come about?
So I help women with Lyme, CIRS, mold, and autoimmune. I help them overcome their exhaustion, their brain fog, their pain, so that they can get their life back and live energized and joyfully and pain-free. So most of my life, I suffered with chronic pain, multiple diagnoses, autoimmune, heart issues, just a laundry list of symptoms that wouldn't go away. I had multiple surgeries, probably visited over 100 doctors in my lifetime without ever improving or getting any answers as to why I just had so many health problems. I was always told, we don't know what's causing your problem and there's no cure. Here's some meds for your symptoms. I ate cleaner and I drank better, more water than anybody I knew, but yet I just kept getting worse and worse, and to the point of losing hope. I had actually lost hope at one point. Um, and I just felt like most people thought it was in my head anyway. But one day I just realized that, I'm just way too young to have this many health issues. And there had to be an answer. I just knew way down deep inside there had to be an answer, a way to get better. I had always envisioned, my husband and I growing old together and having our kids and grandkids, and I wanted that so badly. But I had lost hope of just ever getting better when I was at my very worst. I was unable to even stand up in the shower. I couldn't, I was so weak. I was taking a shower about every 3 days, which, if you know me, that's not me. but I just wasn't able to do much of anything else. Much less, I wasn't even able to take care of myself or anyone else. Probably when I was at my sickest point, I was spending my days in the couch, in bed. Um, I couldn't even stand for my clothes to touch my skin. I was in so much pain. My nervous system was on fire. Uh, I couldn't take light, sound, noise. I couldn't take anybody touching me because I hurt so bad. I felt like I was going crazy. It was horrible. And I had at that time, I had just started to see an integrative doctor at that point, and we knew that I had Lyme and mold, but I wasn't getting better yet. I was still really, really sick. And um, I knew there was something going on with my mouth, so I went to see a biologic dentist. And that was probably a huge turning point in life where the light bulb went off for me. Um, I had just lost hope of ever being able to get better at that point because I had already started treating Lyme and mold, and I wasn't feeling a whole lot of difference at that point. And he told me that day his story, and his story was pretty similar to mine, honestly. And he told me how he overcame and how he now lived a healthy, full life. And just a light bulb went off in me. I thought, well, it's better than me. If he can do it, I can too. And so at that point, I pretty much realized there was a lot more to healing than just food and supplements because I'd been doing all that and it just really wasn't working. And that's pretty much where I started discovering how to heal and get my life back. And one of the things I learned was that support and connection with people who understood so helpful. I hadn't had that. I felt like most people didn't even believe that there was anything wrong with me because it had been years and years, and all I did was, probably in their eyes, complain of this pain or that pain, and didn't want to go to parties or go anywhere because I was too tired, or I. So anyway, just knowing that somebody else understood was so comforting and liberating, and this is where my healing began. I just I just realized that there was just so much more to it than supplements and meds and eating. They're definitely necessary, especially in my case and in anybody's case that's at this point. But there's so much more. And I learned how to heal my own trauma. I learned how to calm my nervous system. And I learned how to adopt a mindset that would facilitate my healing. And it's also the roadmap that I use now to help others on their journey. I learned I learned my true root causes. Well, I knew where they were. I knew I had Lyme disease and mold, but I also learned that I had a bunch of co-infections of Lyme. I had CIRS. I had heavy metal toxicity, dental infections, parasites, chronic viruses, and on and on. I probably had everything, all the root causes except for breast implant illness because I didn't have breast implants. So anyway, so from there, I just studied integrative health and wellness like my life depended on it because it did. And now I have my life back. I'm not overwhelmed or exhausted or in severe pain or unable to do simple tasks because of brain fog or because I'm too weak to move. I listen to my body and I'm able to fully participate in my life and in my children's lives and my grandchildren's lives. I'm energized. I'm clear-headed. I don't have brain fog anymore. I used to not know whether I was coming and going. It was so bad that I was using a GPS on my own property. And if I went into town because I couldn't remember how to get home, it was awful. But but now I've never felt such peace and joy. Um, I feel so calm now. There's just a calmness. I feel like a steady rock. I don't feel like somebody that's just fixing to take flight into God only knows where because I feel like I'm losing my mind.
Yeah.
But I have a purpose now and I'm fully able to fulfill it. I enjoy my kids and my grandkids. I'm able to pick them up and play with them, and which was the biggest driver of why I even wanted to try to get well. I wanted to be here for them. I wanted to play with them. It's just, when you're laying in bed and not being able to do anything at such a young age, it's just doesn't feel good. You just want to do better than that. And I just somehow always knew deep down inside there was a way. And just finally hearing my dentist's story just really inspired me and gave me that little bit of push to dig and just keep trying until I got here.
So such a powerful story. So with you being finally able to overcome and restore your health after having all of that, is that what had you decide to become a health coach yourself?
Absolutely, 100%. Once I saw there was a way out of this misery, out of this ditch, it just ignited a fire in me to want to learn how to heal and just not, it just gave me a bulldog tenacity. I just didn't want to quit, didn't want to give up, and just kept peeling back the layers until I finally got where I'm at. I wanted so bad once I felt that relief, and learned how to heal. I wanted so bad to be able to help others in that same position get get what I've got
Yeah.
because it's attainable, fully attainable. I mean, I'd been told I had psoriatic arthritis and I needed to be on all these drugs and I'd never be okay. I was going to have to take this stuff for the rest of my life. I don't have psoriatic arthritis. I am okay. I don't even have any pain anymore. It's gone.
Yeah, and so needed because I think they're the people who have that, they've already been to all the doctors. It's not like, it's not like you're the first person they've come across. You're kind of like their last hope a lot of times.
For
But they've
sure.
been to all the doctors, they've done all the meds, they've done all the supplements, they've done all the everything. And as you had hundreds, 100 doctors or something. I mean, a crazy number of people, and for so long to struggle. So I'm so grateful that you're on the other side of it, and I'm so grateful that you're here, helping people and doing this so needed work because it's a very frustrating thing to have to go through. It occupies all the resources of a family, or everybody's focused on like trying to figure this out, and it's not working no matter what they're trying to do, and people just go, I guess that's it. I guess you're just going to have to live with it. In fact, that's what you were told by the doctor, right? Like, you know,
Absolutely.
yeah, like you're just going to have to live with it. It's all in your head, or you're going to be on meds for the rest of your life. Those kind of things. So how do you work with your clients? How does that work? Tell us a little bit about who they are, or how do you find where do you see them, that kind of thing.
So most of my clients are middle-aged women. They either have autoimmune or chronic Lyme, mold, or any of those things, or all of those things. Most of them have all of them. And they're just looking for a way to get their life back. Like you said, they've exhausted all avenues and they're desperate to get better. And so what I do is I take them by the hand and I just walk them step by step from the exhaustion and the anxiety and the brain fog and the pain to be able to get over to the other side where we can experience the peace and be pain free and have energy and just enjoy life. I want to where they get their life back. So I work with them very closely. Some clients I see in an integrative doctor's office where I get referrals, but also I see a lot of clients virtually so that I can assist people from no matter where they live. Some of my clients live several hours away, but that doesn't matter, especially being able to do it virtually. Um, there's plenty of accountability and support, but also they know exactly what to do to get on the other side of this. And the most important thing is that we get results.
I want to ask you this, Janice. You know, what is the biggest myth when it comes to people struggling with these things that you've overcome, like autoimmune, Lyme, CIRS, mold? What's the biggest myth that you've encountered?
Oh gosh, probably that you're never going to be able to live a normal life. You're going to have to deal with this for the rest of your life. There's no cure. I get it. I felt hopeless too. I really did. And that's exactly what I was told for years. But it's not true. I am living proof of this. I have come so far, and it's just like I thought of that dentist when he told me his story. I thought, well, you know, he's older than I am, and he was just in bad shape, if not worse. If he can do it, I can too. Well, so can anyone else. It's totally attainable. I'm pain free now, fully restored. I can do anything I want to do, include pick up my grandkids when I couldn't even stand in the shower before. So I've come a long way. So there's hope, but that healing does require going way beyond just the food and the supplements.
Yeah.
But you can't lose your hope. You got to keep your hope. Believing that healing is even possible is so, so important. I can't stress that enough.
You had lost your hope at one point, and when
I
people are
did.
it for years, it's only natural that they would lose hope. So your story is so inspirational and is a testament that it's possible. And you're right. So obviously, do the food, do the supplements, but then you talked about believing that it's even possible. So why is believing that healing is possible even so important?
Well, your mind is so, so very powerful. If you believe that your body can heal, you would be surprised at just how far that can bring you in your healing journey. For me personally, I knew there was a way out of that terrible ditch that I was in. I just didn't know how to get there. But I just kept trying little bit by little bit, just kept peeling back the layers. And I truly, truly believe that our bodies were designed with the innate ability to heal. If we can remove those interferences, body will do its job. I had many interferences keeping my body from homeostasis. But as I peel back those layers one by one, it started doing its job. And I'm whole and I'm happy and I'm mentally and physically and spiritually, it's all there. And I just can't stress that enough. The mind is so, so powerful.
Yeah. I mean, it truly is. I mean, as a medical doctor of over 25 years, I'd seen a lot, and I'm going to say I'm a big fan of the placebo effect. I mean, the fact that you can, that we have to test drugs and different things against a placebo shows right there how powerful it is. Like, just because it's well known, if you believe it will be helpful, it can be helpful. And so that in itself is important. But also, I guess I think the opposite is also true. And so what you're saying is, if you don't believe healing is possible, that's powerful too. And that can really be the thing that blocks it. And when all the 100 doctors say no, healing's not possible, it's only natural you're going to think it's not possible. But that's the first step, right? Is to like know that it's possible, and that believe that healing is possible, at least have that hope. And that's kind of what I hear you saying.
Yeah. All my symptoms were trying to stifle the little voice in there that was saying, it's a lie, it's a lie, it's a lie. Hope is real, healing is real.
Yeah, 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 so good. There are going to be people listening to this who have some of these conditions, um, and they're wanting to know, like, what can they do? What are some tips that you could share with our viewers?
Okay. Well, of course, you want to do all the physical things. You want to make sure you're eating right, drinking plenty of water, taking your supplements, doing your protocols. But the biggest one I want to share is just know that you are not broken. You're not broken. There is a way to come up out of that. Just believe it and start heading in that direction. For my clients, what I tell them, if you can't do anything but just lay there, but envision yourself well. That's what I did when I was at my sickest. When I couldn't do anything but lay in the bed or the couch, I would lay there with my eyes closed and just picture myself. I would picture myself walking, running, riding bikes with my husband, climbing up mountains in Colorado somewhere, or traveling and playing with my grandchildren, taking them by the hand and running down the road out in the country with them. Just, I would picture those things over and over. And I was 100% totally incapable of doing any of that at the time. But I just kept doing it a day after day, month after month, day in and day out. I would lay there and envision myself whole and well. And today, 5 years later from where I started that, here I am. So it's possible. So that would be my number one tip. If you can't do anything else but lay there and picture yourself well and whole and doing all of these things.
Yeah, because now you are able to actually for real do all of these things. And that I mean, um that's huge. It's about focusing on what you can do. So yeah, right now you can't get out of the bed, but you can envision yourself there, and the mind is powerful. And if you know it's possible, that's a very important thing that you can do right here and now. And easier said than done, because when you're looking at the evidence that you can't do it, but let your story or other stories that you hear, help inspire you, foster that belief, ramp it up so that you're like, well, maybe if she did it, I can do it too. And it's so powerful. What are some of the spin-off benefits that you've seen? I know that whenever somebody's working with their client, they come in for the weight loss, or in your case, they're coming in for to address Lyme or some other autoimmune condition or mold. And there's always some spin-off benefits that happen. And this is like my favorite thing to find out, because it's just like happy accidents that happen. And so like what
Mhm.
you get on the other end of this journey is so much better. So anything else that you've seen be spin-off benefits?
Absolutely. Several things come to mind right now. Um, Relationships, people are finding purpose and joy in their lives. They feel better physically, mentally, and spiritually. Their sleep is better. They just have more energy. They're able to do all kinds of physical things and different things that they never thought they could. But I'm thinking of one of my clients in particular. She really just came to me wanting help more with nutrition. She was focused on nutrition more than anything because she didn't know how to eat healthy. She was never taught to cook. She didn't know how. And so that was her main focus. She felt overwhelmed and lost with it on where to even start. Um, and she definitely conquered that issue. But I remember at the end of our what I call boot camp, our healing boot camp, she we went back over everything. And one of the things that she was so surprised about is she said, my relationship with my husband is so much better. We're doing all these things together now. We're cooking together. We're actually going on walks together down by the lake in the evenings, and we're on the same page now with how to raise our child with our son. And we want to cook. We're cooking these good, healthy foods for him. We want him to have them. And she said, it's just helped us in just our overall relationship and lifestyle immensely. So that's one of the biggest ones that came to mind.
I love that. It's the whole family, and the whole family's health has improved. I absolutely love that story. That's exactly what I'm talking about. They come in for one thing, and then it just, because you got to imagine that when somebody has that illness, like all the focus is on that illness in the family, and the attention otherwise, like it's hard to take care of your family when you can't take care of yourself. And then imagine being able to, go from not having energy, not having, not knowing what to do, and then being able to go for walks and enjoy. And, the husband's health is going to improve. The child's health is going to improve. So awesome. Anybody else that comes to mind?
Yeah, I do. There's several actually, but one I'd like to tell you a little bit about. Um, she was a client that basically most of the same things I had, pretty much almost a mirror image of me. But she didn't realize when she came to me that some of her problem was trauma. And she had a lot of trauma that she'd never just kind of tucked away in a closet somewhere and didn't really think about it or anything. But once she started learning about root causes and things that can trigger um, more sickness or keep you from healing, these things, we started dealing with these things, and she was just so overwhelmed and stimulated and being able to sleep or calm down, just severe anxiety, didn't just wanted to hermitize herself, shut herself up, kind of just self-sabotaged her relationships with her friends, didn't really want to go out, just wanted to be home and alone, which I understand. I got to that point too. I get it. Um, but now, which she wasn't even expecting any of that. Now she's calm. She has tools. She's totally equipped with tools to know how to deal with anything that might bother her. That way. She's able to calm down and not be overstimulated, and she's not laying awake at night anymore. She's going out and enjoying her friends. I mean, she got to where she wouldn't even go for coffee with anybody. So and she wasn't really expecting any of that, but it's really fun to watch, and probably where I'm at now is the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my life. I always heard about, find a job that you love. Well, I did find a job, all right, but I found my passion and my purpose. So I really am one of those stories from pain to purpose, because that's what I've done. I found my purpose and I love what I do.
So good. It is. Um, I think in the big scheme of things, it's why we had to go through some of these challenges,
Mhm.
that we can then shine the light for those who are coming through something similar. So we can say, hey, I get it. I know how you feel. Here's what's worked for me. Let's see if we can, help you out. And I love the spin-off benefits. People have gone through a lot. There's so many people who are hurting, so many people who have been traumatized, so many people who have like autoimmune conditions. I think about thyroid conditions. When I was working as a medical doctor years ago, like some people would have Hashimoto's, for example, but even over that course of 20 years, the number of people who had it went, or at least that we were detecting it. I don't know which came first, but it just seems so much more prevalent now. And I think we're in a more and more a stressful lifestyle, more toxins, more stuff like that. We can look at the food supply, we can look at all sorts of things. It's multifactorial. um and and yeah, and a lot of people could benefit from, and it gets overwhelming, all of that. And so for this woman, unable to calm her nervous system, unable to, really enjoy anything, of course you're going to like close yourself in and your life is like, done. So to be able to have the just having that tool to calm her nervous system is huge, because now, to be able to go out with your friends again, actually have a life, like have fun again. That's everything. I mean, how can it get better than that? Like to be able to feel well enough to be able to sleep without your mind racing. Oh, that's huge. We take it for, if we don't have that problem, we take it for granted. But for somebody who is struggling with that, that's enormous. I just want to give you a, heartfelt thank you for first off, overcoming this for yourself. That's huge. And then being willing to like do what you can to shine your light and, you know, be on a mission to help these other people overcome this and be able to get their life back. It is so incredible. So for people who are listening and saying, hey, I have some questions. Can you help me with this? What about this condition that I have? Because you had a lot more than we talked about. We didn't even talk about, you being in the waiting room for a heart ablation and having everybody stare at you, and you're like, why are they staring at me? And realizing you're actually decades younger than everybody else in the room. They're like, what is she doing?
Mhm.
So there's a lot of other things, diagnoses that you had that we didn't even scratch the surface on. So if somebody's like, hey, would you be able to assist me with this? Or what about this scenario? How can people connect with you, find you, ask you questions?
Okay. So the best way, probably to get in touch with me would be to go to my website. The name of my company is Rejuvenate Your Life Holistic Wellness. To go to my website, it is rylholisticwellness.com.
Awesome. So RYL standing for Rejuvenate Your Life. So RYL holisticwellness.com. So, definitely connect with Janice. We have very similar last names, Maynard, Menard, but connect with Janice Maynard, and she's just an incredible human, and I just thank her so much for doing it. Life's a lot better now, but it's only because of what you've had to go through. So thank you so much. And for all of you who are listening, I want to thank you for tuning in. Super appreciate it. If you like this video, feel free to like and subscribe. Plenty more where that came from. If there's something else that you're wondering about, feel free to pop it in the comments or let me know. We're always looking at experts that we can interview to help you live your best life too. So with that, thank you so much, Janice. And
Thank
everyone,
you, Dr. Shaunna.
my pleasure. And everyone, have a fantastic week. And of course, as always, be good for you.